Hey everybody, real quickly, I hope you guys don't mind, but some scenes had to get removed from the video. The sheep will explain more at the end of the video, but I want to make my appearance real quick because it's been a hot minute since I've appeared on the channel. Anywho, the sheep will appear at the end to tell you guys why these scenes were more removed in more detail, but anyway, enjoy KiriGiriso, a Japanese-only game that was from a live stream that got taken down, and so they had to remove it all, but got reposted up now with a little bits of tweaks and removals due to YouTube. Anywho, that'll be explained later in the video. I hope you guys understand. And enjoy this game that was translated. A shout out to, I think it was John, one of my local chatters, who pointed me in the direction of this game and helped me find the translated files. Thank you again, man. Of course, this is an English translation, so this might have some bugs. I hope you all are ready for more Danganronpa, technically. What? I kind of don't have Discord up, Microwave. Hey, Davey. 1/2, 4/2. Okay, what the name of the main character. E. Jacob. Oh, I can only put... Okay, I'll put Jacob. Oh, shit. We might not be playing this day if this doesn't work. Kiri? One-fourth, one-half. I guess that's the name we're going with. Okay. An endless dark road that continued forever. The trees on the side of the road covered my driving, and the leaves went up all above my head. It might have been the wind, but an ominous sound like a voice went through the forest. It was late, in the evening on my way back home from the village. If everything went according to plan, I should have been back home in my student apartment. I chose a detour that I wasn't used to, and by the time I noticed, I had ended up in a non-paved path inside the forest. The sun was already down, and everything was all black. My car kept going into the darkness. A car from a poor student's wage, just a run-of-the-mill car. I looked at my phone to see if I was on the map, but there was no path where the cursor was. There was no path where the cursor was. How did it know? And now all I could relay on was my crappy intuition. Okay, this is gonna be a great translation. In order to get rid of the loneliness, I turned on my car radio. There was only static coming from it. It was a very ominous feeling. Sure, Microwave, I'd be down, but I'm gonna be busy for the next week or so. And to top it off, there was now rain coming. Oh boy, I do love the static channel they have on the radio. And to top it off, there were droplets of water hitting the windshield on my car. It was raining. Thank you, Captain Obvious. While sighing, I switched on the wiper. I tried to listen for the weather report on the radio. I tried to change the channel. And I looked away from the road for 1 second. And that 1 second was critical. When I looked back to the road in my headlights, all of a sudden, a human figure appeared. I have no idea, Ratty. A woman. Oh! There's Kyoko! I know those boots anywhere! If I keep going, I'll crash. Suddenly I turned the wheel, hit the brake. I turned the steering wheel. The car plunged into the grass. Then the trees of the forest appeared in front of me. With some sharp steering, I dodged and avoided collision. The skills I developed in arcade car racing are not bad. The car came to a safe stop among the trees. That was close. I backed the car onto the road and checked behind me. A girl was standing there with an indifferent look on her face. In such a forest at this time, what was the girl doing here? She didn't even have an umbrella. She might be a high schooler. Long hair that went all the way to her waist. On her left shoulder, she had a braid. It left quite the impression. I drove closer to her, rolled down the window, and told her, "Don't walk in the middle of the road, idiot," or "I'm sorry, are you okay?" "I'm sorry, are you okay? Are you hurt?" "I'm fine." With a very calm voice, she replied. She looked at me with her piercing eyes, as if searching for something. I quickly averted my eyes, avoiding eye contact. It was almost like she was looking inside my soul. It was not like I had anything to be guilty about. But who is this girl? Perhaps she lives around here. Thinking this, I asked her for direction. "I think I've lost my way. Is there a main street up ahead?" "Convenience stores, gas stations, and such," I read. She nonchalantly shook her head. From that response, it was almost like she said, "I don't know," and stopped talking to me. At the same time, she turned around and started walking. The falling rain was causing her hair to get wet. "Hey, wait a sec, you..." Without thinking, I called to her. "I did not commit murder!" "Do you know where you're going? Are you going to be fine walking alone this dark path by yourself?" She turned around and glanced at me, but she did not stop. What's wrong with her? Looking at her clothes, it didn't look like she was in the middle of hiking. Maybe that looks like a W. God damn it, Jade Davy! Maybe she got into a fight with her lover while on a drive date and was thrown out on the side of the road. Either way, I can't just leave her here alone. The rain was gradually getting stronger. After some hesitation, I called out to her. "Would you like a ride?" In response to my voice, she finally stopped walking. She turned around and looked at me suspiciously. She went to the side of the car, crossed her arms, and peeked inside the car and said, "Driver's license?" "Huh?" I couldn't help but question her back. "Show me your license." Without saying anything, she kept pressing me on. She's almost like a cop. But no matter how I looked at her, she didn't look like a female officer. "I will show you my license if it calms you down." Okay, this is an interesting picture. I had no choice but to show her my driver's license. Look. She pulled a pen light. She wanted to steal the license. God damn it. I fell for a trap. She pulled a pen light out of nowhere and shined a small light on the driver's license. It's natural to be wary of a stranger invites you into his car. But would one go so far as to check the driver's license? I could understand being doubted about my kindness, but I never expected that she would be so suspicious of me. Don't worry, 1/2, 1/4. She's like this with everybody, even Makoto. But that wasn't all. She took out her phone and read out the information on the driver's license, like my name and address, onto the speaker. "Wait, what are you doing?" "A background check." "Huh?" Thanks, it's done. She put away her phone as she said that. You're done? Done with what? You really are just a normal student, passing by. That's true, but did I look like anything else? I unintentionally retorted in a prickly tone. I guess from her point of view, it would be kind of scary to be talked to in the middle of the woods like this. Maybe she's trying to be as cautious as possible? I guess I couldn't fault her too much. But she went through a back. I'm hearing sounds. Sorry about that. But she went through a background check really fast. It's not normal. Speaking of unnatural, the gloves covering her hands were pitch black. That's Kyoko, definitely. Those gloves were very regular. It's not easy to be wearing gloves, and I couldn't call it fashion that girls these days are wearing. Maybe it's a recent trend? Sorry, looks like I mistook you. Alright. So you're getting in? For the ride, I mean. If you give me a ride further, that'd be great help. Gotcha. Get in. She did not get in the passenger seat. Instead, she opened the back seat door and sat down. Are you a high school student? Why are you walking around out here? I asked while looking at her through the mirror. It's a secret. Without looking at the mirror, she said that. Oh, okay. While personally making a large sigh, I stepped on the accelerator and kept going. Be terrified. The car sank into the darkness once again. The path past that point was even darker than before. Even so, I wasn't alone. She may have been a very odd passenger, but it's better than being alone. Just by looks alone, she was a beautiful girl that I feel bad to let her get in such a car. It might just have been my imagination, but she smelled very nice. I don't know. Like flowers. I might not have had a shiver me timbers. And? Well, she smelled very nice, like flowers. I might not even have a chance like this ever again. What is it? It's almost like she knows through the mirror. She looked at me with a cold gaze. Oh, nothing. You didn't tell me your name yet. You don't really need to know, do you? Damn it. Thank God I brought water. God damn. Well, that might be... well, that might be so, but a journey is best shared with others. I guess me knowing your name and you not knowing mine wouldn't be fair, would it? Yeah, it's not fair. But there's no reason for me to be fair. While saying that, she nonchalantly looked out the window again. Oh boy, what a troubling lady. The rain hit the car harder and harder. I tried controlling the radio, but still only static noise. I couldn't hear anything. Look, the tree is blocking the road. She sat up from her passenger seat and moved her body forward, pointing in front of the car. There's a fallen tree in front of the headlights. I don't see it. It looked like rotting wood. It was so worn out that it looked like it had been lying there for decades. The path kept going past the fallen tree. I might be able to drive past through the side of the road where the thicker bushes were growing, go around the tree and keep going. I drove off the path and my car was in the wild grass. While feeling the vibration on the handle, I traveled past the fallen tree. It would be very awkward to not say anything, so I talked to her. Let's see. Do you like movies? Did you see anything outside the window? You're very beautiful. Do you have a brother? Chat? I get the feeling this will lead to a very, very bad ending. We'll try this. Do you see anything out the window? Like what? Well, you see, it would be helpful if is there something to guide us. Like a road sign or a billboard, a house light, a rare flower. There are lots of little yellow flowers on both sides of the road. Flowey! Little yellow flower. But it probably doesn't matter, so don't worry about it and just keep driving. Oh, little yellow. But it probably doesn't matter, so don't worry about it and just keep driving forward. What the heck? That makes me even more curious. You've been looking away from the road for a while now, and your driving is dangerous. Die. You've been looking away from the road for a while now, and your driving is dangerous. You're right, sorry. It's already a rough road. Let's just concentrate on driving. I'd much rather drive myself. You can drive? I'd much rather drive myself. There we go. Obviously. Obviously? Sound of the rain suddenly got louder. And it's almost like the car's roof was being banged on like a drum. We can come up with a beat to this. It almost sounded like yellow flowers are my so-called best friend. sound like hail. No, that's wrong. It's branches. Branches were falling right in front of the windshield. What is this? Tree? From the passenger seat, she yelled suddenly, "It's going to fall!" A tree on the right side of the road was falling in the direction of the car. I quickly hit the accelerator and went under the tree. Afterwards, almost like an earthquake, the large tree fell on the road and blocked it. The side mirror showed fallen tree trunks. That was close. My heart was still racing. It's almost like it was aiming for this car. Oh, it's almost like it was aiming for this car. That's ridiculous. Although the direct hit from the tree was avoided, the downpour of branches broke one of the wipers. There were lots of leaves stuck to the windshield. It's hard to see ahead. Might be best to stop the car and remove the leaves. I stepped on the brake, but the pedal fell off. The car didn't slow down. This is bad. What now? The brakes aren't working! I yelled. Instead of stopping, the car kept picking up speed. Another tree is falling down. Her voice echoed inside of the car. I looked and saw a tree about 100 meters away was just beginning to fall onto the road. Valkyrie's attempt of a shogun. An attempt of a sabotage in the car. Since I was going so fast, the falling tree's shadow made it look almost like it was falling in slow motion. At this rate, at this speed, we might get crushed under the tree. Like a pancake. And the brakes weren't working. Just as she said, it's aiming at us. She said, it's aiming at us in timing. What should I do? I pulled the emergency brake. I asked her, I hit the accelerator even more. Script making the brakes don't work. Well, when your normal brake doesn't work, what you need to pull, and this is something I learned, pull the fucking emergency brake. I pulled the emergency brake, but there was no response. No, it won't stop. Get off the path, go into the forest. Get off the path, go in the forest. We'll hit a tree. We hit a tree, we'll stop. We can't do that. I hesitated. She stood up from her seat and took control of the steering wheel and forcibly turned to the left. The car rampaged like a bulldozer, running over vegetation as it went into the forest. And we ended up right in front of a huge tree. I scrunched my neck and prepared for impact. The next moment, a loud crash echoed throughout the dark forest. Everything turned white. A little bit delayed, my face felt pain and dizziness simultaneously. Instantly. Am I alive? Looks like I've been saved. I raised my body and looked at the situation in front of me. The reason everything was white was because of the airbag. I pushed away. In front of the car, white smoke was bellowing, and a large tree stood right in front of me. What about her? I turned around in a panic, and in the passenger seat with a refreshed face, she put her hair behind her ear and took off her seatbelt. Are you alright? Yes. It's no big deal. She pulled the door lever, but it wouldn't open because the body of the car was warped. Without even hesitating, she raised her feet and used the bottom part of her boot and kicked. With a loud sound, the door opened. We left the car and realized the situation we're in again. Due to the crashing into a large tree, you wouldn't think with how twisted the car is, that would be metal. But the tree didn't have a scratch. She is Kyoko. I don't know if she is or not. Look, there's something on the wheel. She squatted down and used her pen light. And when I looked closely, there were vines that were tied around the tire. They looked like some sort of plant. Maybe when we went off the path, the plant got caught in the tire. That be why the brakes weren't working? But what reason was there for a tree to suddenly start falling? Was it because of the rain that made the ground softer? Riding in someone else's car never leads to anything good. What? Nothing. She walked away from the car and took out her phone. It's not connecting. This is the worst. We're surrounded by a dark forest and the rain kept getting stronger. Where could we be? We're not simply lost. There's a possibility we might get stranded. At this time, it would be dangerous to move around. For now, let's stay inside the car and wait for the night to pass. I got close to the car. And suddenly an explosive sound surrounded the car with flames. Seriously? Afraid of the explosion, I fell over on the spot and looked at the flames. I couldn't even stand up because I was so shocked. The heat of the burning flame felt rather warm on my rain-soaked body. It's dangerous to sit there like that. It's dangerous to sit there like that. She said that while looking down at me and crossing her arm. How could she be so calm in this situation? There were many accidents happening over, and no matter what was happening, she didn't show any kind of emotion. This was the most irregular thing of all. I see light over there. I see light over there, she said while looking at the darkness. When I looked over there, there really was a faint light glowing from the darkness. What is that? It could be light from a house. She made her way towards the light as if being invited by it and headed towards the forest. Hey, wait! I finally stood up and chased after her, panickingly. If I let my guard down, I might lose her in the dark forest. Moreover, as we went deeper into the forest, the rain turned into a fog, making visibility even more difficult. Could it really be light from a house? I don't see what else it could be. We're in the middle of the forest. Are there any houses around here? I have a bad feeling about this. We really shouldn't get close to it. It's not like you have to follow me. Why don't you stay close to the bonfire until daybreak? She said without looking back. Of all things, she called my beloved car a bonfire. You treat everyone like that? I apologize if I've offended you. I'm sorry. And thanks for talking to me all this way. Thanks for taking me all this way. I appreciate it. You appreciate it, huh? You don't really look like you do. Kyoko Giri. Huh? My name. Is it fair now? She glances back at me and said, At the time, her expression or look very adult. The face of the girl held many secrets. It couldn't just be the darkness that made me think that way. Being speechless for a response without saying anything, I chased after Kyoko. No matter what happened, we need to escape from this forest. That much is clear. We gradually approached the light. We headed out from the forest, and we suddenly stepped into an open space. At the same time, the wind blew and cut away the fog. The surrounding grass swayed like small waves, brushing our feet. Past the waves, we looked forward. An old-style gate leading to a western mansion was before our eyes. Ah, shit. Anytime there's a large mansion in the middle of nowhere, it's immediately a sign that someone's dying tonight. It's an old-fashioned Western-style building, overly decorated in the way you would normally only see in a theme park. The conveniently placed mansion that appeared out of nowhere in 12 BC. Exactly. If it weren't for the mysterious black stains on the wall and the ivy creeping around the windows, it could be called fairy tale-like. But this place was so eerie. We found Dracula's castle. But this place was so eerie, it felt more like a haunted house. There's a light coming from a window on the second floor. It didn't look like a fluorescent or artificial light. It might have been a light from a candle. While looking out the window, the light suddenly disappeared. Ah! I raised my voice. Kyoko seemed to have noticed too. Looks like someone's here. Kyoko pushed open the rusty gate and proceeded through the gap. Nosferatu! Hey, what are you going in there for? You should stay away from this ominous place. Let's go back to where we can get a cell phone connection. Well, you do that. I'm going inside the mansion. Okay, I get it. If you're going by yourself, I'm heading back home. Oh, I only own my 2 options. Okay, I get it. If you're gonna go by yourself, I'm heading back home. Or aren't you scared? All right, chat. This I'll leave up to you guys. Which option do we pick? I guess I'm picking. Aren't you scared? You didn't respond to my question. Began walking towards the mansion. I did a vote with chat. Oh, well, I'll do it again for the next option. I can't communicate very well with this kid. Looks like I can't have a conversation without guessing. Could you have been heading to this mansion in the first place? That's a secret. Kyoko brushed her wet hair off their shoulders and left, leaving only those words behind. There was no way I could just leave her like this and run away. The reason was that I didn't have the confidence to go back through the forest by myself. But more than that, I was now intrigued by the mysterious girl called Kyoko Giri. Besides, I can't let a girl go to a scary place alone, right? I'm going as well. I opened the gate and chased after Kyoko. Are you worried about me? Are you worried about me? Of course. I see. You'll only be a hindrance. Don't say that. I'm afraid of being alone too. I thought I could use your help. Looks like I have no choice. I like how you tell us Japanese because keep going last name first. Kyoko frowned. She might have acted cold, but she might actually be the type who feels a sense of responsibility when someone relies on her. I felt like how I understood how to get closer to it. Inside the mansion grounds, there were various types of plants and trees growing. It didn't look like they were being kept very well. There were many plants and bushes I've never seen before. That chaotic scene unnerved me. We finally stood in front of the mansion's front door. Kyoko knocked on the door without hesitation. After waiting a while, there was no response. I turned the knob. Ah! The knob felt moist. I panically took my hand off it and looked at my hand. My hand was painted deep red. Blood? It's just rust. Kyoko grabbed the knob with her gloved hand and turned it. The door swung open. Inside was a spacious entrance hall with a Luigi's Mansion intro. God damn it, that would fit here. Entrance hall was dimly lit chandelier hanging from the high ceiling. No sign of anyone living here. It's so quiet that I can almost hear my heartbeat. Hey, Blue. Welcome to the stream. I hope you enjoy your time here. This is Luigi's plot. I'll get. All right, guys. We need to find Professor Elvin Gad. Find Egad, and we can use this to get ourselves a poltergeist. We'll take back the mansion. No sign of anyone living here. It's so quiet, I can almost hear my heartbeat. Excuse me. Is anyone here? I yelled all the way inside the mansion. There was still no reply. Without hesitation, Kyoko stepped aside the mansion. She's always doing her own thing. However, there's no heading back now. Actually, we were in distress and need to ask for help if possible. It would be nice to borrow a phone here. In the entrance hall, we entered right in the middle. There was a large door. Is that a clock? To the left and right of that are on the sides were stairs leading up to the second floor with a gentle curve. There was a door on the left. There was a door on each of the left and right walls. At the foot of the stairs, there's a large grandfather clock keeping the time. The interior of the mansion appeared tidy and well maintained compared to the eerie impression of the exterior. Or contrary to the sound of the clock, it seems as if time had stopped in the space for years, remaining still. But the most unnatural thing was the flower bed in the one corner of the entrance hall. The flower bed. This is Kyoko KiriGiriso. Or KiriGiriso, or whatever it's called. Basically, this is Kyoko's story before Danganronpa. So we're technically playing as a college student with Kyoko. I'm like a Watson now. The flower bed was made of bricks and a single tree planted in it. Holy shit, what the fuck? You could even call it a great tree from the thickness of it. The tree leaves got close enough to touch the ceiling. Why are there vine-like substance on it? Like veins? As someone who grew up in Pennsylvania with trees, I've never seen a tree like this. I've seen trees with hollowed out tops, tall limbs and branches, hell, even a big root. I've never seen a tree look like this. I'm a little terrified. There was a tree growing inside the mansion. I didn't know the name of that specific plant or that large trees have veins on their trunk. It doesn't. As someone who grew up with trees, they do not have veins. Kyoko KiriGiri. I didn't know the name of that specific plant or that large trees have veins on their trunks. It looked like a monstrous tree with blood vessels. It's an amazing mansion. I said, looking up at the tree. You can practice tree climbing indoors. Is this tree alive? Is this tree... Oh, I can answer. Hang on, chat. You guys gonna be contributing to the vote. Is this tree alive? Is this tree alive? It's a plant, so it's natural that it's alive. Kyoko decided to be the comedy foil and head for the stairs. Let's look for someone. They should be on the second floor. Wait, let me ask you first. Is the person you look for an acquaintance of yours? No. I thought she would just say it's a secret again. Or something, but her answer was quite unexpected. It's not alive in that way. Well, it's alive in more human way. That's what I'm thinking. It has fucking veins. Even so, I couldn't understand the situation. There was no doubt that it was no coincidence that Kyoko had come to this mansion. She had some purpose and had come of her own volition. However, she said she didn't know the owner of the mansion. At least she didn't look like she's visiting a friend's house. If so, what was her goal? I've heard a lot of rumors about this place. I've heard a lot of rumors about this place, Kyoko said suddenly. Rumors? When you get lost and enter the mansion, you do not leave. They say it's a man-eating mansion. A man-eating mansion? Why didn't you say so before? We're already done for already, aren't we? I said in a hoarse, accusing tone. Withering God damn it! She. Of course there is such a mansion, is there? It's illogical. Such as a cat with a long torso, or a cat bear with a human face. It's the same as those kinds of those urban legends. No, there was something weird about this mansion. Why isn't anyone coming out? A strange lack of life. And to be honest, you could possibly be living in a forest like this. Do you want to see a living being here or not? Do you want to see a living being here or not? Kyoko replied, quite calmly. Why am I yawning a lot? I'm like yawning a fuck ton and I don't know why. The hills are silent. The trees speak binary. I don't know what to think. I was thinking about way too much. Never mind about the mansion. What kind of person was Kyoko? Hey, tell me already. What are... At that time, from out of nowhere, a telephone ring was heard. Whoa, there's a phone somewhere. I ran towards the sound. That source was the flower bed. I timidly got closer to the large tree. It seemed like the noise on the telephone was coming from inside the tree. Yeah, that's the thing there, Gabe, and now we're hearing ringing from a tree. What is this? What's the meaning of this? I looked around the tree to see if there was any phone hidden somewhere. The phone itself was nowhere to be found. Ah, this is... It ate the phone. Oh my god. Ah, this is truly a Mystery. What a long cord. Where's the part where I can speak into? Sometimes trees grow and absorb things that are connected to it. I'll take the pun. Ah, this is truly a mysterious. What? KiriGiriso tilted her head. Well, I put tree inside the word mysterious. Be quiet. I'm trying to listen from the phone. Sorry. I want to explain the pun, but got scolded instead. I wanted to cry. While this was happening, the bell suddenly stopped ringing. Ah, we can use this phone to call for help. I wonder how it works. Kiri touched the surface of the trunk, tilting her head with a puzzled look on her face. I couldn't believe she was willing to touch such a gross tree. Probably because she's wearing gloves. I started getting chills from it, so I moved away from the flower bed. And then... what's that sound? Somewhere far away, we heard the rattling sound of metal. What was it this time? Hello? Hello, hello? Was something moving? Kyoko and I exchanged glances, kept our mouths shut, and listened carefully. I put an ear to the large door near the stairs and listened for any presence. Quiet. I tried to turn the knob, but it was locked. Not here. I went to the right-hand door from the entrance. There it is again. There's something behind this door. Kyoko approached the door, and her footsteps quiet. Then she grabbed the knob and slammed it open. It seemed to be a reception room? By the fireplace, a sofa was lying there, and on the walls there was bookshelves lining them. There were no other lights inside the room, except for the redness of the fireplace. There was some sort of silhouette on the sofa. The silhouette looked like a person. Someone was sitting on the sofa. They seemed to be oblivious to our presence, perhaps because they had their backs to us. I took a chance and called out to him. However, the figure did not turn around, but continued facing towards the fireplace. Kyoko moved around the sofa and looked at the person sitting down. Leaning on a sigh, she lowered her shoulders. This is just a suit of armor. Armor? I walked in front of the sofa to make sure. But it had to move, right? Yes, Kyoko said there was a Western-style full-body armor sitting down. One whole piece of metal around the armor, sitting in a person-like shape. What's that metal sound that we just heard now? Was it the armor moving? Could there be someone in the armor? Alright, chat. We're gonna save. Let's be curious. Being curious, I looked inside the helmet. Beyond the slits in the dense darkness, at least there was no sign of anyone wearing one. Feeling somewhat relieved, I carefully tried moving the faceplate upward. What the hell? Immediately, green leaves began to sprout out from the helmet. It looked as if it was spewing green blood as I gulped. It was as if the leaves were stuffed inside the helmet just so it could pop out as soon as the faceplate was removed. What is this? It's so weird. It looks like some kind of plant is growing inside the armor. An armored style plant. No matter the case, you wouldn't call it a good hobby. But if the inside was a plant, why did it sound like the armor was moving? I looked over at the armor in curiosity. However, Kyoko seemed more interested in the fireplace. It looked like something is burning. And Kyoko took a poker by the fireplace, started searching inside the chimney. The ghost of 87. She raked through the reddish-black burning wood to scrape out the remaining embers from the depths of the fire. Among the large amount of ash, a scrap cloth was found. It had a colorful pattern printed on it. It appeared to be clothing, but only a portion of it remained. So I was not sure of its size or shape. Other items were found, plastic cards that had been melted turned black and pieces of paper that remained unburned. You go squat down in front of the fireplace and pick them up. There's a lot of clothes being burned and some cards. If you look at the faint letters, it's probably ID cards. At least 2 or 3 people's clothes and ID cards are being burned. Why would anyone burn something like this? Who knows? I don't want to think much about. I don't want to think about it too much. Kyoko said as she picked up a piece of paper and from the ashes. It looked like some sort of note with something written on the edge. Help me. Right! I forgot Japanese. Take out translator. That's what it said. Hey, what's happening in this mansion? Who knows? Without giving much thought to respond, she put the piece of paper in her pocket and left. You really not know anything? Yeah. Don't lie. You wanted to come to this mansion in the first place, didn't you? What was your goal? What are you hiding? I'm not hiding anything, Hugo said with a sharp gaze. It seems like we've opened more distance between us. Indeed, I did want to come to this mansion. Indeed, I did want to come to this mansion from the beginning. However, I don't know the details. I simply came to my appointed place by taxi. But there was nothing there, and when I was looking around, that's when I ran into you. That's all. Pointed, huh? Does that mean someone told you to come here? That's right. Who was that? Who knows? Hey, tell me the truth. I don't know either. The client didn't say their name. Hey, gaming. Client didn't say their name. However, I think I know who it is. The owner of the mansion. The owner of the mansion? Who knows? However, I'll just tell you this much. This is my first time coming to this mansion. I'm at the same point as you, not knowing what's happening in this mansion. I see. Sorry for suspecting you. No need to worry about that. More importantly, it seems the situation is much more serious than I thought. We shouldn't waste any time. She pointed towards the fireplace. What did those burnt clothes and black ID cards mean? Let's find the owner of the mansion and question them. Then all will become clear. I said with determination. I feel determination. If we can even talk to them. If we can even talk to them. What do you mean? We might be dealing with a vicious serial killer. Huh? Just a hypothesis. With no expression, Kyoko shook her head from side to side. That might be. In this ominous mansion, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a serial killer hiding here. The others still hadn't shown themselves, and thinking about what's being burned in the fireplace, this was becoming a possibility. Before finding the owner, let's look around for evidence. Before finding the owner, let's look around for evidence. The more we can get, the better. Being alone inside a creepy mansion filled you with determination. As Kiri said this, instead of the door leading back to the entrance hall, she placed her hand on another door for the back. And alone. And when we open it, it looked like some sort of dining hall. There was a white cloth laying over a long table. On the middle, there was a three-trident candle holder. I never see something like this on the other than in movies or dramas. Looking closely, the cloth was a bit in shambles. You couldn't really call it hygienic. Moreover, reddish-black stains were visible here and there. It's almost like stains of blood. I approached the table to examine the stains. However, as I passed by the window, I suddenly felt something move outside and stop. I felt like something was watching me from outside. And it wasn't just one figure, but several. I quickly opened the window and looked outside. No one. There were iron bars on the outside of the window, so I couldn't see any further. But as I peered into the darkness, a novice flower bed with a strange-looking plant growing out of control. The leaves were in whirls, and the vines were spreading out in all directions. Upon a closer look, something was lying on the ground. I let out a short scream and fell backwards. Giri, Kyoko knows something was wrong with me and looked out the window. However, at that moment, a strong wind blew and the plant leaves covered up the sight. There was a whole bunch of skulls there. I desperately tried to sway her, but when Kyoko looked, she simply tilted her head. This just hurts. Hey, Ruby. Yeah, sleepy. Ruins the game vibe. It's murder. We need to call the police. It's murder. We need to call the police. There's no body. If you want to call the police, you have to find the body. Outside. I definitely saw it. Really? Yes, I'm sure. Let's turn back now and go outside. Let's turn back now and go outside. I insisted. Honestly speaking, I wanted to get out of this creepy place as soon as possible. This place isn't normal anyway. Wait, there's a kitchen down the hall. I know the police suddenly thinks you're crazy in this situation. Listen. I may have a few dozen skulls out back, but I'm innocent. Enough already. Come on, let's go back. I said until that left no room for arguing, and Kyoko shrugged and complied. We returned to the entrance hall. After being chased by the sounds of the grandfather clock, we stopped in front of the door. I immediately grabbed the knob. However, the knob turned, but the door did not open. What is this? I tried hitting the door and turning the knob forcefully. I tried many things. Popcorn, is that you? But it didn't open. I gave up on the door and tried to open the nearby window. However, on the outside, there were iron bars, and it seemed like we can't leave. By the looks of it, all the windows had iron bars. We're trapped. I said so with a surprised voice. Kyoko tried to open the door as well. She gave up, letting us outside and left. Looks like they were right calling it a man-eating mansion. We're gonna get eaten by this mansion. I'm kidding around. How could this happen? Just what's happening here? Calm down. What do you mean, calm down? Come to think of it, a lot of strange things were happening since I met Kyoko. Even if it's not all her fault, there's no doubt that she's a big factor. No, could it be that she is the one who's drawing me here? No, it couldn't be. You look like you're in despair, Kyoko said with her arms crossed. I tried to search for the truth in her expression, but it looked like that's impossible. Her expression was almost like she was frozen stiff. Was she a bad guy? Or Could it have been... You might be misunderstanding, but it's not a despairful situation just yet. We haven't even searched the second floor or seen the owner of the mansion. You said they might be a serial killer, didn't you? That would be rather convenient. Convenient? I've seen a lot of murders in my life. I've faced them one-on-one a few times. I know their methods well enough, and I know how to deal with them. They're easier to deal with than my classmates. Classmates? Your classmates. So does this take place during your time at Danganronpa? During your time at Hope's Peak? What are you talking about? Just, who are you? That's also a secret, but it looks like I can't keep saying that, can I? I am... KiriGiriso said this while putting the gloves alternately on their left and right wrists to make them fit better. A detective. A detective? Yes. An ally to the truth. With that, she turned away and started walking towards stairs leading to the second floor. You're going alone. I'm going to check upstairs. Jade, is that you then? You can rest there. While going upstairs, her skirt swayed from side to side. As soon as her figure faded away, a detective, she said. We often hear stories of famous detectives solving difficult cases, but would a girl with such a skinny frame really be a detective? Should I let her go alone? I asked myself. She'll probably be fine on her own. Yes, Ruby? Hey, fuck you! Should I let her go alone? I asked myself. She must have a reason to confront them. But I didn't have that. Lobotomy is a mod. I know my mods. But I didn't have that. Rather, I should think of a way to escape from this mansion as soon as possible. But still, looking at her going up the stairs by herself, I felt like I had to go as well. It's safe to say that I was influenced by a dignified demeanor that never faded away, even in a situation. No way, a detective looks like a game of murder mystery with a detective, an innocent, and a murderer. I guess you guys could call this a class trial. Fuck! I wanted rim shot! Hang on. I can't turn it off. I am literally trying. There we go. Now I'll do rim shot.
Come on! Hurry the F up!
Gotta put some of these on. You play the song of feeling. Alright. I fucked up so bad. I need to get these monitored. Like, marked. I thought it was actually that bad. I have some sound bites. I do have this from Monokuma.
A body has been discovered! A body has been discovered!
Whenever we find a body, I'll play that. I said Jade! Alright. Let's continue. I don't know, SR. This wasn't something I should leave to someone else anymore. No choice but to do it. I followed Kyoko up the stairs. They're awfully creaky stairs. 13 steps in total. Well constructed. I reached the second floor, feeling like I was going to the gallows. As I turned the corner in the hallway, I saw a figure slip through a door a little ways ahead. I couldn't see them very well, but from the shadow of the door, it seemed like it was someone with long flowing hair. It must have been Kyoko. I tried going after her and stood in front of the door. I put my hand on the door and then something grabbed my shoulder. Ah! I jumped in surprise. When I turned around, Kyoko was standing there. Huh? Huh? Couldn't you have just stayed back and waited? Didn't you just go in there? No. I just came out of the other room. So, who entered this room? I'm sure it's someone from the mansion. Looks like we got a clue. I only got a quick glimpse, but she was a woman with long hair. Don't let your guard down, even if they are a woman. You better stay behind me. I can state that for a fact. Junko and Oshima. Kirigiri pushed me aside, stood in front of the door. She opened the door. The room was designed like a hotel guest room with a bed and a closet in the back. It was also equipped with a shower and toilet. When I flipped the switch at the entrance, the bedside lamp lit up dimly. But strangely enough, the woman who just entered the room was nowhere to be found. I looked at the shower room and toilet, but there was no one there. Did someone really go in here? Kyoko looked at me suspiciously. I definitely saw it. Right. If that's the case... Kyoko opened the closet and began searching every nook and cranny. Eventually, she noticed something. She touched the hook on the side and pushed it down. Then, within the closet, a board, like a door, opened inward. A hidden room. A hidden room. Come on, let's go. Kyoko calmly entered into the closet. I quickly followed after. The light from the fluorescent globes hurt my eyes. I was immediately enveloped in a pungent, foul-smelling humidity. The room was completely covered with various plants, so much so that the walls and floors were no longer visible. Leaves with tips as sharp as swords, leaves that opened like umbrellas, and vines that hung from the ceiling like it's almost like an abandoned botanical garden. What is this? We waded through what looked like a jungle to the back of the room. This room seemed like a laboratory of some sort. An experiment table was covered with leaves, and test tubes and inspection tools were laid about. Among them, I found something that looked like a broken glass plate. On the surface, there was a red X drawn over it. Apparently, they were doing some research on plants here. Before I knew it, Kyoko had found something that looked like a document and was looking through it. I see. I'm thinking there were a lot of plants in that garden I've never seen before. Guess what research could have been conducted here? According to this document, several years ago, a creature with both animal and plant characteristics was discovered in nearby seawater. That strange single-cell organism moved around using flatulent, preying on and ingesting algae in the sea, also photosynthesizing. What a strange creature. True, Davy. You would know all about that, Mr. William. I mean, Dave. I stared at the plate with the red X on it. This is what is called a petri dish, which is used to culture microorganisms. But what is this red X? Based on the genetic information of that organism, research was carried out to combine the DNA of animals and plants. Until recently, it was thought that combining the DNA of animals and plants was theoretically possible, but not expected to produce practical results. But this conventional wisdom has been overturned. That's about the summary of what was written here. That sounds fishy. Combining animals and plant DNA? It's obviously that nothing good will come of it. Have those researchers ever heard of "I won't let this end as a dream"? The R changed their name. The fact that he built a laboratory behind a secret door clearly shows that this wasn't proper research. And that, I don't think we should touch it a lot. Kyoko pointed at me and said, "Ah!" I quickly let go of the petri dish with the red X on it. I fervently looked at my fingers. It's okay, nothing was wrong. I wonder what happened to the researcher after that. Where did the researchers go? There are signs that doctors here have been burned. Something must have gone wrong, and they had to destroy the entire research facility. I tried to look for something else. Examine the whiteboard, open the desk drawer, flip the switch on the wall, open the locker. Let's examine the whiteboard. I examined the whiteboard. It contained complicated and unfamiliar mathematicals and chemical formulas. Among them, I could see what looked like a message. Please take great care in managing. Always follow the guidelines for the colorful leaves whenever you use blank. Colorful leaves? What does that mean? Hey, May. As I just got worked on by Rocky. I don't really get it. Examine the whiteboard, open the. Let's open the desk drawer next. I opened the desk drawer. I found small bottles containing murky liquid. There were some letters written on the label, but they were faded and almost unreadable. What is this? I handed it to Kyoko, and she held the liquid up to the light and looked at it. However, she suddenly took her eyes off it and turned towards the entrance as if she noticed something there. There was a girl standing there. A girl with long hair. I wonder if that's the girl I saw earlier. She was peering in from the doorway. However, the moment we became aware of her presence, she disappeared behind the door as if hiding. Wait, Kyoko chased after her. I hurriedly moved through the plant to follow Kyoko. Passing through the hidden door of the closet, I rushed by the side of the bed and out of the room. Whoa! When did all these plants get here? When I got to the hallway, there were various plants growing that weren't there before. Roses. Thorny vines were spread all over the place with no gaps between them. What is this? What's going on? I saw her go through the door up ahead. I wonder how she got past the rose plant. Kyoko pointed beyond the rose plant. Another door was visible at the end of the hallway. We can't go past here. We can't go past here. What should we do? The only place I can think of where you might find the tools you need to move it on it is... kitchen? Was there a knife in the kitchen? If I use the knife to clear the rose plants, we should be able to move forward. God damn it, May. I'll go get some tools. You wait here. I'll take care of it. Before Kyoko could say anything, I left her there and ran down the hallway. I wanted to show that I too could be useful. I ran down the stairs. I jumped into action without thinking much, and it took a lot of courage for me to do that. But I couldn't go back and ask Kyoko to come with me. The kitchen's just past the reception room. I entered the kitchen and searched the cupboards, trying not to get distracted by my surroundings. There it was! The knife was very dark from rust. That's blood! Unfazed, I grabbed it and went back upstairs. That's blood, dumbass! When I turned to the hallway, Kyoko was gone. Maybe she went ahead by herself? Go after her, call out to her. Go after her. Come to think of it, she was wearing gloves. With those and her slender body, she could probably get past the rose plant. With that in mind, I decided to press forward. Swinging the knife, I cut the rose vines with haste and opened the path. I finally reached the end of the hallway. A heavy-looking iron door was in front. I grabbed the cold handles and opened it. More plants. What's with all these plants? It was a room with thick glass ceilings and walls, a greenhouse. Like the laboratories we saw earlier, there were a variety of plants growing all over the place. These were probably research subjects as well. I could see Kyoko's profile among the bushes and trees. Hey, it's cool if you just leave me alone like that. I waved my hand to move closer to her. She then turned towards me with a surprised look on her face and tried to run away. In that moment, her figure, which had been... Uh-oh. That macho is a plant lover. Fertilize the plants with human bodies. In that moment, her figure, which had been hidden by the bushes, became visible, and I realized that she was wearing clothes completely different from Kyoko's. It was a plain dress with absolutely no decoration. She was not Kyoko, but the mysterious girl who's been running away for a while. Even so, she was strangely similar to Kyoko. Enough that I mistook her at first glance. Wait a minute. I called out in a panic. She fled into the corner of the room, peering fearfully at me as if cornered. She stared at me with wide, tearful eyes. Her face certainly resembled Kyoko's, but hers was just more expressive. Her emotions were easier to read. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. I opened my arms to show that I meant no harm. I realized I was still holding a knife in my right hand, so I quickly threw it near my feet. Look. She hastily nodded. Are you from this mansion? Oh, are you from this mansion? What's your name? Kyoka. You spoke for the first time. Her voice was faint, like a sigh. Her age was probably the same as Kyoko's. No matter how much I looked at her, she looked exactly like her. Kyoko said she didn't know anything about this mansion, but seeing as her and Kyoko looked almost the same, I was having a hard time believing it was a coincidence. I was at a loss of what to ask her. I plan to, SR. After Danganronpa, I plan to. I was at a loss of what to ask her, but then I heard the sound of the iron door opening behind me. Someone came in. It's Kyoko. Did you finally catch her? Good job. She said with an impression. Then she realized that the Kyoko in front of her looked just like her. Just like her, and her eyes widened, which was unusual for her. There's a few things I wanted to ask this child. Kyoko tried to confront Kyoka. Kyoka, afraid of Kyoko, stepped back. Two looked very similar and symmetrical. You're the one who called me to the mansion, aren't you? What are your intentions? What are you trying to achieve by locking us here? Jeez, can't you stop interrogating her like this? I wouldn't say I'm good. I'm decent there, SR. I got in between the two of them. At the moment, Kyoko stealthily took my hand in hers and slipped a rolled up piece of paper in it. What is this? Suddenly, Kyoko paused, pushed me away, and tried to approach Kyoka. I grabbed Kyoko's arm to stop her. What are you doing? Kyoko turned around, staring at me with cold eyes. Her expression didn't change much, but you could tell she was very irritated with me. She's scared. Not going to get anything from her like that. While I was trying to hold Kyoko back, Kyoko had already pushed her way through the bushes and made her way to the entrance of the room. Went to the doorway, she turned around, then opened the door and went out into the hallway. Why are you taking her side? She's the one who's putting us through this. Is that really true? I don't think so. What's your rationale? Huh? You're not going to tell me you see it in her eyes, right? Kyoko sighed with her hands on her hips, disappointed. I couldn't argue with that. That sounds like a certain phrase that a certain person would say. What was their name? Tell the truth, Kyoko was right. I just felt some sympathy for her. There was no logical basis for this sentiment. Well then, let me ask you a turn. Are you really not connected to this mansion? That Kyoka girl looks like your twin. How do you explain that? Her name is Kyoka. Don't pretend you don't know. With you two looking so similar, there's no way you don't know about her. I'm afraid I have no idea about that. And by the way, I don't have a twin. I don't have a twin I got separated from. That point is clear and beyond a doubt. Are you sure about that? Yes. My family's a bit unique. I'm so confused as well. We're apparently going through one of Kyoko's cases she had when she wasn't in Danganronpa.
A body has been discovered.
No, that's wrong!
I also have that now on the soundboard. And who is Kyoka? I can only guess, but I don't want to think about it. Kyoko said, folding her arms as she cast her eyes down. I suddenly remember that I had a piece of paper Kyoko had given me in my hand. Well, Kyoko's eyes were elsewhere. I secretly unfolded it and checked the contents. There's something written in it. Please help me, trust me. She is asking for my help. I think so, SR. I think so, which is kind of sad. She must be trapped in this mansion. Can I ask you something? Can I ask you something? I asked Kyoko. Yeah. You said you were instructed to come here. Was it solved some case as a detective? I don't intend to disclose the request. Actually, I didn't get any details. I just told we talk in person. So you came to the designated spot and there was nothing there, and then I happened to be driving by? Yes. At first, I thought you were the client and messenger, but surprisingly that you were just a student and nothing else. I guess the reason they specified on an empty plate on the phone is so that no one but me would know the location of the mansion. Such as a taxi driver. Did you come halfway by taxi? That's right. It's not like I could drive, but it's not like I can't drive, but it would be against the law if I did. I see. The request itself was probably just bait to lure me to the mansion. It happens all the time. So Kyoka called you this mansion for some kind of purpose. Kyoko nodded. So what purpose is that? Fun fact, SR, there is no footage of this in English. This game, and the reason I wanted to cover it, is that there's no footage of this in English on YouTube, from what I was told. I was actually told this was a Japanese-only game. No English translations that people had, and had this. So, someone found translation for me and I got this working. So this is actually the first time I think this is on YouTube. Hi-hat. Maybe she's planning to kill me? Kill you? Why would she do that? Maybe she's like a doppelganger. There can only be one. Maybe that's the thing. Is such a story possible? She wants to kill her because they look alike. What does the message she gave me mean? Please help me trust me. Basically, Davy. I'm sorry. If I trust Kyoka, what do I say make of what Kyoko said? What if Kyoko was actually lying and she was the one who broke into the mansion to kill Kyoka? Never doubt Kyoko! I know her well. We survived Danganronpa together. The killing game. Wait a minute. I felt like I knew this message. And carefully, should I trust KiriGiri or Kyoka? Kyoko's story made sense, and she didn't seem like she was lying. I decided to trust her, or this is a sincere message from Kyoka. I believe in Kyoka. Kyoka's story made sense, and she didn't seem like she was lying. I decided to believe her. Hey, take a look at this. I showed KiriGiri the piece of paper I had. I received from Kyoka. So that's how, she said, staring off into the distance. I don't know. Good luck. It might make sense as we go through the game. What is it? Now I understand what's going on in this mansion. Really? I still have no idea what's going on. That being said, I do feel like I've seen this message somewhere before. You're perceptive. Indeed, you've seen this message before. Huh? Where? You should understand by now, shouldn't you? No, not really. Fireplace. Let's go after Kyoka first. It wouldn't be too late to explain then. Went on to the hallway. There were more rose plants covering the hallway than before. They grow so much from just this little bit of time? I turned back to the greenhouse, picked up the knife, and made a way down the hallway, slashing rose plants with it. It's almost as these rose plants are protecting Kyoka. Or maybe they had a will of their own and were trying to get in our way. We finally reached the stairs. Through the hallway of roses. Then ran down the stairs together. Where could Kyoka be? We'll just have to go through the rooms one at a time. Let's start looking in places we haven't been to yet. Kyoka went down the stairs and put her hand on the large door to the right beside her. But it was locked. Giving up, she headed towards the door at the far left of the entrance hall. The door slid open easily. It led to a narrow hallway that also damp and humid. I opened the door at the very back and found myself in a white room lit by fluorescent light. It smelled disaffected, like a hospital. This room also seemed to be some kind of laboratory, but unlike the hidden rooms and greenhouse on the second floor, it wasn't covered in plants and was kept neat and tidy. It's also quite spacious. In the center of the room was a small glass-walled compartment, like a germ-free chamber, inside which was a clay flower bed. There was an eerie plant growing there. At first glance, it looked like a cactus-like fleshy plant, but on closer inspection, it was shaped like the upper half of a human body. It looked as if the lower half of the body had grown from a corpse buried in the ground, and I felt nauseous. However, examining the figure closely, it was not a very elaborate resemblance of a human being. With only curled arms and no fingers and a head that barely showed the unevenness of the eyes and nose. But the sight of dozens of these such plants lined up the room and glass-wheel flower beds could only be described as nightmare fuel. So this is a result of their research. So this was all the research. Kyoko tried to keep her composure, but I could hear the agitation in her voice. Still, she opened the automatic door to the germ-free chamber and went inside. What is this? Is this alive? I'm pretty sure it's alive. The question is this a plant or an animal? Or is it human? Human. This? You have to assume in the course of their experiment to find animal and plant DNA, human DNA was used as well. Hey, Bitter. It may have been a trivial experiment at first. Perhaps botanical development was the only end goal. However, at some point they started driving the realms of creating such deformities. This is the secret of the mansion. Kyoko picked up some dirt at her feet and looked at it. Unlike the other abandoned areas, this is the only one that's being cared for. It looks like someone will still take care of it. It's Kyoko. I wonder. Kyoko tried to touch one of the plants like it's nothing. Suddenly, the plant behind her began to move. The cactus-looking plant grabbed Kyoko's slender arm and wrapped around it. Before Kyoko could react, she was tangled tightly. Ah! Kyoko tried to twist her body to get out, but the plant was unexpectedly strong and seemed to overpower her. I rushed into the germ-free chamber and stabbed the plant in the arm with the knife I was carrying. They were plants. I had no hesitation stabbing a plant, unlike a human. However, the stabbing plant began quivering slightly and made a deafening buzzing sound. The sound was The plant cried out in anger, shook off its injured arm, and began to strangle Kyoko's neck. Kyoko desperately tried to tear it off, and it didn't budge. The strangling force became so strong that she had no longer able to make a sound. And what should I do? I said the blood soaked in the knife. Please don't hurt them anymore. Please don't hurt them anymore. A voice came from behind me. I turned around and saw Kyoko standing at the entrance of the room. She was leaning against the doorway, hugging her own skinny body. Those children are alive too. But if this keeps up, she'll get killed. There's nothing I can do now. Kyoko shook her head weakly. Kyoko was struggling painfully in the monster's arm. All I wanted to do is live peacefully. But you keep searching in the mansion, and that's no good. I thought you were the one who called the detective here. No, don't be fooled by her lies. No, don't be fooled by her lies. She's a detective who heard rumors about the mansion and came out here out of her curiosity. Hacks are beings who love to uncover mysteries. She couldn't resist that desire. She even dragged you, had nothing to do with it, into the whole thing. What? This was not what I heard from Kyoko. She was not lured by Kyoko, but came here on her own to solve the mystery of the mansion? Luigi's Mansion. If that's the case, then this alchemist, what she brought upon herself. I hope you finally believe me. Kyoko said, but looking straight at me. I know you're a poor soul got caught in the middle of all this. So if you promise not to tell anyone about this, I'll politely escort you to the exit. Please just walk out of here and say nothing. Kyoko said cleanly. The urgency of her expression pierced my heart. Her expression spoke to me more clearly than Kyoko's, whose face I couldn't read. Yeah, Ratty, this is before the first game, apparently. I glanced over at Giri. She began to lose her ability to resist. If I left like this, Giri would undoubtedly run out of strength and die. What should I do? There's no way I can abandon her now. I raised the knife and brought it down with all my might on the arm of the plant that was strangling Kyoko. A Kyuka's body screamed simultaneously with a spray of blood. I didn't care and continued stabbing the plant with the knife until I finally succeeded in cutting off its limb. Kyoko got released from the limb, and while coughing, she crouched down. She looked like she was safe. I thought you would understand, Kyoko said with a cold expression on her face. The look on her face was still similar to KiriGiri's. Kyoko, I understand what you're trying to say. Is it true that we have carelessly trespassed on your precious place? I apologize for that. I'm really sorry. That doesn't mean you have to kill her. Does it? I tried to help Kyoko up, but she stopped me with her hand and stood up on her own. What a strong girl. Who knows, Ratty? We'll never see you at this rate. I won't tell anyone about this place. I promise. So just let us leave. Can I trust you? Kyoko asked in a weak voice, leaning against the wall. Yes. We will never disturb your peace again. I see. I understand how you feel. What about the detective? I can't trust her unless I got a promise directly from her mouth. Hey, can you talk? I looked at Kyoko and asked her. Kyoko coughed and raised her head, brushing the hair off her cheek before turning to face Kyoko. I have no intention of looking away from the truth. Hey, what are you saying? You just want to live peacefully? That's a lie. Not telling the truth at all. Your eyes were fixed simply on Kyoko. She's hitting still lets my anxiety get the hold of me. I can understand that. Well, it just would look like I was going to get home safe and sound. I'm not saying the truth. Kyoko tilted her head in disagreement. Yes, here. Hidden from the eyes of human living in the peace and quiet, this is not the kind of fairy tale. The reality here is much uglier and crueler. What do you mean? I asked. They are murderous. I'm sure they killed countless people by now. Am I wrong? In response to Kyoko's question, Kyoko remained frozen, her eyes wide open. It did not respond. It's like that no one would have wanted its mansion made out alive. It truly is a man-eating mansion. Thank you. I hope I'm doing this game proud. But that's not all. You lure people who work on commissions like me to the mansion and kill them. Detectives. Hey, let's see if I can find that. Let me just see. I might be able to put that sound effect. There you go. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Like me to mansion to kill them, detectives were probably your easiest targets. The things that were burning in the fireplace were the victim's belongings. That's total nonsense! The clothes that were burning in the fireplace were my clothes. I didn't need them anymore, so I got rid of them. Stop trying to speak. Alright, Sarah, okay, I won't do it again. Sorry, Sarah. There were ID cards for the people there. I don't know, maybe some cards got mixed in? Then what about this? Kyoko pointed out to the piece of paper she had found in the ashes. A note that said help. Well, I don't know anything about that. That's not true. You're lying. There's no way you don't know about this note. Because the handwriting on the note is exactly the same as the note you handed him that says, please help me, trust me. The words help me are exactly the same. Same characters and brushstrokes. So both notes were written by you. The evidence that Kyoko showed made Kyoko at loss for the argument. Now that she mentioned it, it's true, both notes' writings were the same. What does that message mean? I asked. You have an idea of what I'm talking about, don't you? A message that sounds like a plea for help is given to the afflicted sympathy and lull the victim into letting their guard down. The same method was probably used on the previous victims. The more humane the person was, the more effective the note given. The amount of detectives you brought here, I can't even begin to imagine that. But why does she need to kill? But why does she need to kill so many? Because there aren't enough nutrients. It's nourishment for the creatures she's carefully nurturing in the glass, or you call it bait. The oddly shaped plants in the shape of a human being. That's what Kyoko was killing people who visit the mansion and feeding them. So that meant Kyoko was killing people who visit the mansion and feeding them to the plants. Just imagine that made me feel dizzy. They are children who fail to become human. Kyoko sat close to the glass flower bed. They need a lot of nutrients to grow into a proper human form. They aren't imperfect. Fat creatures brought into this world on someone's whim. But even so, I couldn't abandon them. Kyoko walked towards the glass and crouched there. Suddenly, all the plants of the flower began... Suddenly! For God's sake, she's a... Yeah, you can just lay down and rest while we're gonna stuff us. Suddenly, all the plants in the flower bed began to tremble and let out hideous cries. Then, one by one, with legs that were hard to describe, so either tree roots or tentacles, they began to crawl out of the soil and glass flower bed. Are they worried about Kyoko? They surround Kyoko, then turn their attention to me and Kyoko. It seems they have identified us as enemies. That's really bad. Let's run away. We ran out of the room fast. As we stepped on the corridor, a strange figure suddenly blocked our way. An armor suit stood in front of us. The same one that was sitting on the sofa in the reception room. The armor pulled the short sword from the scabbard at its waist and swung it at a wide arc. It's moving! This is not time to be surprised by something like that. Kyoko quickly crouched down and swept its leg. The armor crumbled, surprisingly fragile. Green leaves overflew from the gaps of the scattered armor. No more enemies. We reached the entrance hall. An anomaly had also occurred there. The tree that had been planted in the flower bed had grown and was spreading its roots all over the room. More, it was still growing rapidly, with its roots wriggling like tentacles above the floor. Dangerous! Kyoko pushed me away. At that moment, a tree root came flying like a whip. Through the tree, grazed me and whipped Kyoko to the side. Her body slammed into the trunk of a tree. The roots immediately crawled up and wrapped around her like a giant snake. Are you okay? I tried to run over Kyoko, but was quickly blocked by wriggling roots. The tree roots were hard. Even when I stabbed the knife into them, it only made a small scratch. We can't let you escape. Kyoko appeared from the hallway. There were plants all around her. Not only that, but now leaves and I were beginning to grow all over the entrance hall. And as if in tune with Kyoko's will, they began to cover our surroundings. Kyoko's whole body was being squeezed by the roots of the tree. Her face twisted in pain. She struck her hand out through the gaps of the roots, trying to reach out towards me. Here! She was holding something in her hand. I clinged on to the rippling tree root and ran towards her. Just about to reach it, a tree root caught my leg and I fell to the ground. I couldn't give up just yet. So I laid on the ground on my face, reached out my hand towards Kyoko. Kyoko stretched out her hand towards me and dropped something onto my hand. It fit perfectly in my hand. A bottle. I'm pretty sure it's the same we found in the hidden room. Throw it at her. Kyoko's voice was like a divine revelation falling upon me. I twisted my body and raised only my upper body. Kyoko was standing at the entrance of the hallway. I threw the vial at Kyoko. Direct hit. The bottle hit Kyoko's body and broke into pieces. The liquid inside splashed on her. Kyoko immediately screamed and covered her face. It's no time at all. Kyoko's skin became drier and drier, almost like a mummy. At that same time, the plants covering the hall began to rustle. The tree roots began to thrash about wildly as if they lost control. Howard thinks of this. Roots that had been gripping Kyoko were loosened from her body. Kyoko collapsed on the spot. Are you okay? Yeah, somehow. Let's get out of here quick. Kyoko pointed to the window. Rough root had broken the window, warping the bars, creating a gap. Kyoko and I jumped through the gap. In the rain, we headed towards the gate. Kyoko's death screams echoed behind us. I'm glad. What was in that bottle? I asked Giri as we ran. It's a potent herbicide. Huh? Does that mean? Of course, herbicides are toxic to humans too. But would someone suffer that much from being splashed with liquid from a bottle? You have to assume that in the course of the experiment to combine animal and plant DNA, human DNA was used as well. I got you covered there. Allow me, chat. Allow me. I could actually give you guys that running step. Let me just get this on. I can't loot it. Turn on the volume. Okay, so I'm going to set this to the tab keybind to help me with this. There we go. I remember Giri saying that. Suddenly, Kyoko's screams echo throughout the forest. Then, it was cut off. We passed through the gate and looked back. There was no longer any sign of a mansion. There was only a single tree that had overgrown, and the vegetation surrounding it formed a new forest. Giri grazed out into the forest with a cold look in her eye. That was only a change from the first time I met her. Bitter, you have a problem. Without her presence, the whole thing might have seemed like a dream. But still, what was Kyoko? The girl looked a lot like her. I don't know anymore. If I had the chance to get to know her a little better, would I have been able to understand her? Kyoko turned her back on the gate and started walking. So, is this the end? I asked. The client is gone now. My work is done here. I see. Anyway, I'm glad we're both safe. That's right. Remain current till the end. And now what should we do? Going home, of course. Through this forest. Of course. You'll escort me, right? Night girl, normal ending. Clear.
Listen!
Wrong sound effect. Alright. So... Damn it, Bitter. So... What's everyone's thoughts on this game? Yeah, DR fan has. So, what's everyone's thoughts on this game? I mean, this is a rough translation, by the way. You know, we're not even that far in. Oh, what's this? Hey guys, real quickly, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you want me to cover the other 5 endings the game has, I think there's either 5 or 6 endings, do tell me down below, but those will not be in live stream format due to the reasons I will now get into here in a second. I hope you guys did enjoy this. Again, shout out to you guys for pointing me in the direction of this game and for helping me find the translated files to use. Now to explain more clearly why certain scenes were removed. As you may have noticed, 2 scenes were removed. One scene was known as the skull scene. It was when the character looks out a window in the dining room and sees a bunch of skulls just laying out in the forest. The second scene was the cactus or plant stabbing scene that was also removed due to reasons. These reasons are mainly due to the YouTube safety, as they like to call it. Basically, for some reason, YouTube deemed these scenes too violent and did not allow the video to exist with these scenes, because these scenes, along with the Danganronpa anime we watched during that stream, caused the stream to come down. AKA, they unlisted it and removed it from my channel. I had to basically fight to get the stream back up on the channel, but even then, I could only salvage the Ace Attorney segment of the stream, which still sets me off a little bit, but what are you gonna do, you know? As such, this was basically what I could salvage from that stream, though, and what was allowed. As you can tell, most of it was not really touched because those weren't bad. It was those 2 scenes in particular that were claimed as bad scenes had to come out of the footage, basically. I hope you guys understand. If you guys want me, like I said at the beginning of the stream, like the cat said at the beginning, if you guys want me to cover more of this, I'd be more than happy to, but they will not be live streamed due to the fact of, as you can tell. And I might see if I can rope in a friend or 2 to help me do some voice work with it. Doing it all myself is kind of tiring. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.